That's right. I've got it all, so I get mine.
Your chair as well, then. Off you go.
That's right.
So it's nice to see you keeping the tradition. I said, what's that? He said, well, it's normally me who has to work the day after the coach trip. And he said, you made Andy work, and he's been on the coach. I mean, yeah, it's not planned.
No, I'm working twice in one day. I mean, how stupid is that?
And me.
Yeah, you were on
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah. Well, you were just as daft as I am, then.
I can fall asleep on the train.
That's true.
Can't go any further.
Well, no, you can't. No. Might get your feet wet, but apart from that, you'll be right. Which one are you going to? Which of the Weymouth ones are you going to?
Carla's.
Oh, right, yeah. In the Moose Lodge one.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. Before we start, the healing must be really good today because somebody didn't need their glasses after it. There we go.
It's a miracle.
I don't know, stood on them. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome to this, your church, the Paul Christian Spiritualist Church. A great delight to welcome our guest demonstrator today, Minister Andy Ford. Andy, wonderful to see you with us.
Thank you, bless you.
It seems ages since I last
I know,
saw you.
it could only feel like a day.
We were on the coach trip yesterday, so we're all just a little bit jaded. So if we go very quiet and shut our eyes, we're not asleep, we're in trance. All right. But moving on. Big warm welcome to our friends joining us online, wherever you are in the world. So wonderful to see so many new people again coming to our church. We hope, obviously, you find something you're looking for. If not, absolutely wonderful. That sounds odd, but it's about the journey. So I always applaud people who actually come in and find out for themselves. Because so many people sit there and say, oh no, I'm not going in there, they're all weird. Well, they've got the second part weird, right? But well done. Nice to see you. Lawrence, shut up. Andy, sir, if I could invite you for the opening blessing.
Yep. Just like to go into the silence and just gently close your eyes. As we say, Oh Heavenly Father, we thank you for this gathering today. We thank you for those that have come seeking knowledge, the knowledge that we never die, that our soul is eternal. We continue to learn, we continue to progress, we continue to have experiences, and we know within our own earthly lives that we do each of those while we're here too. So as we go forth with this service, we ask that you join us in love, peace, laughter and upliftment. And as always, we leave it in your capable hands. So we say thank you. God bless us. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Andy. And we now move on to the mediumship of healing. We have this term of mediumship within the movement, which automatically brings to mind the evidential side. But there are so many forms of mediumship. One of which, and to me and to many people, is our heartfelt centre, is the mediumship of healing. That is by linking with the spirit world, with the energies, and directing that healing thought to wherever, whoever, or whatever you choose. Your heart leads that energy. Your heart is in control of this time. So we invite you now to sit, accompanied by the music, just to sit quietly, sit peacefully, sit restfully, and send out that love, because love is healing, healing is love. They are so intertwined, they can never be separated. To wherever, whoever, whatever you choose. If there is anybody in particular you would like mentioned at this time, simply raise your hand, and when I point to you, just call out their name. And trust in the intelligence and the understanding of spirit that healing will be given in accord to the needs. So enjoy this time of healing, of oneness, of communion, not only with your own soul, but those who work with you. Thank you. Divine and infinite Spirit, God of our own understanding, we thank you for this time of healing, for this time of connection, and for this time of oneness, and this reminder too that we can choose to bring healing, upliftment, wherever, however the opportunity arises. Amen.
Amen.
I'd now like to invite Andy for his reading, followed by his address. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. It's easier at the moment if I sit when I'm reading. Yeah. Thank you. Ooh, tap right. So today's reading is going to come from a book called On the Side of Angels, which is the biography of a gentleman called Gordon Higginson. And if you don't know who Gordon Higginson is, do check him out because he's an amazing medium. Unfortunately, he's passed now. He was he used to run the Arthur Findlay College where we went yesterday, and he was a trance medium. He was almost anything and everything. His mother was told that he would be born, and she was to train him and bring him through. And he, as I said, became quite an amazing medium. This is a part of his story, which is interesting because actually Lawrence has had cause to be drawn to this book for somebody else also very recently, which is interesting. My inspiration was because we went there yesterday, it came into my mind. I arrived today with one reading in mind, and when I was sat there, it got changed. And you will understand why. Yes. Right. Okay. Hold on. Right. And the reason it got changed is because it's about the ministry of healing. Although I'm not widely known as a healing medium, I have had considerable success in that field. Harry Edwards focused his faculties of physical mediumship into an energy which had effect upon the physical body of patients, but I did not do this. I felt that my gift lay mainly in improving survival. However, I have had quite good results whenever I've given healing to people. I'm always eager to have Stansted Hall used more as a centre of healing, but it never seemed to take off in that way. I seldom did any healing at Stansted, but concentrated more on my work in my own church. Most of my healing took place there in the 1950s. After that, I couldn't be there as often. Healing is a part of a church work, but we are trying in all ways to improve everything that Longton Church offered. I started a group to be run under my leadership. I had a very good spirit helper called Dr. John, who specialised in healing and was a first-class diagnostic. Frank Tams, a very dedicated medium and an excellent healer, Challow, was to work closely with me in this project. I arranged that Kath Jebb would be in charge of the organisation. She was a tower of strength in our church. It is through her that I am able to recall just a few of many hundreds of people who were helped through my healing ministry. Kath also kept all the records of this physical circle, which met for years in Longton Church. That was a monumental task in itself. It was decided that Dr. John would see the most serious cases. In the beginning, he also gave healing, but as time went on, he started to run the healing more like a clinic and only came in on special cases. Dr. John would receive patients, diagnose what was wrong, and often tell them just how they got into that condition. He prescribed what type of healing was needed, which health healer was suitable to give a particular patient healing, and where the hands should be placed. Kath recorded these instructions and would arrange it all. If Dr. John wanted to see a person again, she would make an appointment. It all depended on how serious their condition was. We were always very busy, especially after people knew that the healing was being run by the Spirit in this way. In 1952, I remembered a plea for help from a village about 12 miles from our church. It was from a mother of a young lady called Jean. She was unable to walk, was crippled by arthritis, and also had TB. Jean was a lovely person. She had a great sense of humour, but was so frail it was pitiful to see her. She was so young, so pretty, yet lived her life confined to a hospital-type bed, where the facilities to lift her without causing her more pain. Her mother had heard of some of the things that we were doing. We were a last hope. They were a lovely family, so close and so courageous. Frank and Kath went to visit Jean at first. For weeks, Frank gave her healing. In the end, he asked if I would go, as he felt Dr. John's expertise was needed. I agreed and went, not once or twice, but many times in the following months. The guides used to talk to Jean. So did Frank, Kath and I. We spoke about spiritualism, about the life after death, about the many things which were important to the spirit itself. Jean seemed to have tremendous insight and gradually gained hope of a different horizon. I never promised her she could walk again. I couldn't because I knew the eventual outcome. I did promise that one day she would join me in with the spiritual service. Then the time came when I realised that she had not much time to go. There was a part of me that was sad. Jean was so young, but I had suffered so much. Even with spirit help, we couldn't change her destiny. I decided that she should see a service, even though I had to make special arrangements for it to be in her own home. I spoke to our church members. Bill Harrett arranged for some hymns, whilst Frank came along and did the reading. Kath gave a short address and a demonstration. It was a proper service, even though there were only a few there. Some of the church people joined us along with members of Jean's family. 2 weeks later, her time here on earth ended and she passed into her new home. We had become very fond of the child, yet could not grieve. There was rather a marvellous sequel to this, which happened only a few weeks later. In the physical circle I held regularly in our church at that time, the voice of Cuckoo was heard saying, "I have a surprise for you." The ectoplasm built up and a form moved outside of the cabinet. A young person with a swirling gown moved gracefully and confidently out towards Kath. It was Jean. "Look," Kath said it. "I can walk. Look at my hands." She held her hands out, and the fingers were straight and true. Those poor fingers, so deformed in this life, were straight and supple. Tears of joy ran down Kath's face. Other members of her circle who had not known Jean felt the emotion and responded in turn. Jean thanked Bill Harrett for the hymns he played for her at a special service. She moved across the room to Sally Morgan, a member of her church who attended the service at Jean's home, thanking her for the flowers which she gave to brighten her room. Lastly, she spoke to Frank. "I enjoyed your reading," she said. "Please thank Gordon. He gave me so much happiness. May God bless him," were her last words as she returned to the cabinet. Thank you. The musical chairs, we can move around there. Good morning. Oh dear.
I know.
It's supposed to be us that are tired. You know.
Yes, come along.
Yeah, that's right. Yes. Morning.
Morning.
That's it. Yes. Yes. You need to, prove you're alive. I would say, I know they are. I don't know about you lot, but there you go. But it was interesting. I said because that's the way the spirit works. They will bring that inspiration. They really will. I ended up thinking, as I said, started off looking through many books, trying to find the inspiration of what I was supposed to bring today. Found a book, and I thought, that's good because that's the inspiration, because we went there yesterday, and I like the stories anyway about Gordon. I thought, that's it. I know that what I'm doing now. But when I was sat there, of course, the healing energies were flowing. And I just got inspired to have another look at the book and found the chapter on healing. And I went, code. I thought, oh, I know which one I'm supposed to read today. It wasn't the other one, it's this one. Because actually, healing itself, it seems to become the poor cousin a little bit. It's just, well, we do some healing, It's a shame because, the Albert Hall was filled with a demonstration of healing. You wouldn't get that these days, not unless there was a message attached to it, which is a great shame because there's so much in the aspect of healing. The fact is that within this a union, this blending between him and Dr. John. He could bring forth actually proof of survival in his own way, because in his diagnosis he knew what was going on with the person. He knew what was being the history. But if he wasn't still alive, how does he know that? The healing cannot, as he said, it cannot bring total healing. It cannot remove everything, not if it's not meant to be. But comfort can be given. It can be done in different ways. It is not for us to judge. But I think it's for us not to diminish the power and the position of healing within any organization, within a church, or within any environment. The power is there. And when you look back and see some of the stories about healing, they were amazing. Harry Edwards, who sat as he was in a physical circle providing energy for Morris Barbanel. But while he was there, the spirit world prepared him to go on to do his healing. And that's where he himself had some amazing results. And it's interesting how at the end the wording coming up. So I think we were talking about the Harry Edwards sanctuary was something that was being discussed yesterday as well. So you see all these little sort of things, oh yeah, that popped up yesterday, that popped up recently, and it's almost like, yes. Often if we're aware, and we need to be aware, that the spirit world are trying to tell us things. They're bringing us little clues or answers, even though we may not totally be aware of it at the time. They are always there trying to help us, guide us. They are there with us, if we would give them the space and the time. You yourselves can ask the spirit world a question, but you do have to be sort of somewhat aware of where the answer may come back. It may not come directly through a medium. It may not come directly. It may come through something that you suddenly read that seems to catch your attention. Somebody says that again catches your attention. But if they can, the spirit world will bring you those answers. I remember doing a service some years ago, and I was again thought I was prepared for the evening, and I was going to put my little CD on, and the radio was on at the time in my gizmo, and I pushed the button, the CD went in, it came back out again. Pushed the button, went in, came back out again. Pushed the button, it went in, it came back. Language wasn't exactly spiritual at that stage. I said, "Oh damn," or something like that. I think, you know. And I wasn't aware of what was on the radio until obviously that moment, when this lady's voice on the radio was talking, and I heard her say, "Never judge your life by the number of moments in a breath, but by actually the number of moments that take your breath away." And I recounted that at the service that night, and a lady came up to me and said, "Thank you, you've just answered a question I've been asking." They used me to get her the answer. I didn't know there was a question attached to it, but they would do these things. As I said, look back into our history, look back into the aspect of spiritualism, look back and see what had been done in the past. Look to see which actually I hope will come back to be done in the present and the future. Not always in the same way, because things have changed. Hopefully we've all learnt something. The spirit world certainly have learnt different ways of utilising energy. We just need to let them teach us now. So within it, if you're in just for the first time and you're starting your journey, or even if you're still, been a few years into it, there's plenty out there to find, plenty out there to experience. And the spirit world themselves, who are the greatest teachers, are looking to impart their knowledge to us. So I do say thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you, Andy. Yep. Good. course, a couple of the people there that Andy mentioned in his address is, of course, Gordon Higginson, and there is also Harry Edwards. These people can be researched. If you're investigating spiritualism, they are easy to research. Good old Google. Where would we be without Google? And there are many videos, articles, and different sources on the internet readily available. And we will be doing a trip from this church. We'll go to the White Eagle Lodge and then on to Burroughs-Lee, which is Harry Edwards Healing Sanctuary, and that'll be later on in the year, because healing is very close to our heart here at Poole especially. We now move on to our piece of music for the day. During this time, Sue will be taking the collection for the further work of This Your Church.
See, it's a bit carrot and stick in it. Interesting that they changed the volume.
Thine angels adore thee, all veiling their sight of all thy rich graces. This grace, Lord, impart. Take the veil from our faces, the vow from our hearts.
We now move on to this part of the service where it's all fine and well for us spiritualists to say there is no death. But we are the only philosophy, religion that we can actually offer evidence to support that. And I emphasize the word evidence because as amazing, as astounding it may sound to other people, it's what's going to touch your heart. We can come out with all the descriptions, the height, the weight, the looks, the names, the roads. But actually, if somebody said, I've got a blue Mac here, I know exactly who that is, what that relates to, and what the energy is about it. And I understand that. So, this time is your communion with those who have gone before us. And what a joy that is, what a miracle that is. to be able to be in communion once again with those who have taken that step forward on the path of life. But please, this does involve you. All right? This is not Netflix. This is not Disney. I said there you go. Catherine Tate. All right. Embrace it. Oh my God, if my mum and dad came in, I'll be beside myself just to be with them again, even for the briefest of time. To feel. I always emphasize spiritualism should be an experience. Yes, we can read. Yes, we can watch. Yes, we can listen. But nothing beats the experience, that closeness, that oneness. So, if our medium will come to you today, please be part of that conversation. So we require a nice, clear
yes, no, maybe.
I'm so sorry. People here for the first time. I do apologise, you'll get used to it, trust me. Andy, sir, over to you.
Bless you, Lawrence, thank you. Good morning again.
Good morning.
Getting better. Anyway.
It is still.
It's still a little bit, yeah.
Still
I know it's
energy.
still very early, isn't it? Really, I was saying, sorry to waking you up. Bless you all. Yes, well, I guess you have to. The spirit would have to put up my cheek, so you lot do as well. That's the thing.
You lot, this is my congregation. How dare you?
Well, yeah, and so everybody.
Only I'm allowed to call them you lot.
Usually I get thrown out and don't come back again. Yeah, that's right. No worries. That's right.
Get on with it.
Yes, dear. So, is there anybody that is here for the first time? I know that you are. So, is this new to you totally, or have you had some experience before? New to you. Yeah, yeah. And I'd say it's funny because I'd say to the lady that you've had experience before. Not you, my love. Sorry, I point in many different directions. Vianne's, yes. It's very rude of me, but the lady behind you. Can you understand that, my love? That you've got knowledge of the spirit.
No,
you haven't. Yes, because it feels like very much like you will have. So it was almost like because it's interesting because I don't normally start this way, but I know, as I said, it was interesting as I was sat there that the energy took me to you, and it was almost like the fact is that it's almost like the aspect of this knowledge that they wanted to sort of pass to you, and it really is, And it's almost like the fact is that because I don't know why they're doing it this way, but we'll have to go with it if you don't mind. That's right. Just let's see how it goes. But I know, as I said, that as I was sat there, it's almost like the fact is that that I know that that bless you, you're not one to push yourself forward, my dear. No, you want to hide really, And I expect you're sat there thinking, I wish he's not talking to me at the moment, because
I want to hide.
That's right, I want to
I've been
hide.
singled out.
That's right, yeah. I'm sorry, but the spirit will have singled you out, and I don't mean that nastily. I mean, it's all done in love. I promise you, it's all done in love. But it's almost like this thing about. I just feel as if at the moment they got very excited. It's almost like we've got you here. It's taken you a bit of getting you here, but we got you here. There's been a few false starts, they said, where you thought about doing, oh no, I can't do that. Yeah. And it's always like, bless you, but they're aware of it, and just know, as I said, that they're always there with love from that side of things, And I just, the way they're talking to me at the moment, it's almost like the fact is that a moment sort of, they're trying to make me aware of a lady that would be in the other world that would connect to you. And it's almost like the feeling is that this feels like very much like on a family link of either, mum and grandmas always feel the same to me. So it's either mum or grandmother, And, but I feel as if it's almost like, it's strange because I want to say, if I got this round the right way, mum's more like you, but grandmother's got a little bit more oomph to her. Do you understand that? Because I feel as if with grandmother, it's almost like, my grandmother's doing it all right, let's roll our sleeves up and get on with it. You understand that? Yeah. And grandmother wouldn't worry about, being back front, whatever. She'd be in there sorting it out, my dear. She really would, bless her. It's almost like I feel as that's why we started this way, because it's almost like she got everybody else parted and went, right, I'm taking over now, and now you're going to do, I got told what to do, you see, but that would be her. Yes, bless her, she wants it done her way, and I'm not going to argue with her. Not a good idea to argue with your grandmother, it really wouldn't, But I know she said to me, I'm being told off now, my dear, because she said, don't make me out to be an ogre, because she said, I wasn't an ogre. She said, no. She said, I just had strong points of view that I was quite willing to share with people. But I know that this lady had a loving side to her as well. She really did, you know. She said, there is this softer side, she said, but, you know, she said, but unfortunately in times she needed the more sort of sterner side, she said, because she said, lots of things fell on my shoulders. Can you understand that? You know, that sort of thing. She said, I was the one who had to get it done. I was the one who had to sort it out, you know, that sort of thing. So she said, you know, there's no good me hiding in the background, because she said, I had no choice. She really did. She said, but as I said, she said, not that I would do anyway, you know. No, you know, I'm always there, you know, in that sort of point of view, you know. And I know with her, it's this aspect of, you can understand with this beautiful lady as well, that if you needed help and support, she was there. But you know with grandmother, she ain't going to do it for you. She really isn't, no. No, it's almost like she's going to bring you all the help she can and then go, well, you go and do it then. I'm not doing it for you. I'm there to support you, but I'm not doing it. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, get on with it, you know. But I know with her, bless her, that, you know, I wouldn't say she was OCD, but she did like things where, in the house, where she wanted them. And if you moved them, she knew. You could move them a millimetre, she'd know. Can you understand this also with your grandmother? It's almost like the terminology that she had eyes in the back of her head. She'd know things that, how do you know that? You know, I wouldn't say you were naughty as a child, because you don't look like the naughty type, my dear, you know. We won't let all your secrets out today, all right, because you're first time, all right? You don't worry about that, you know. That's right, yeah. But I know, as I said, that if, you know, but she seemed to know these things. She had what I would call a good intuition. She'd have a very good intuition about people as well. You know, she met somebody, someone said, oh, not so sure about that one. And she wasn't far wrong either. She really isn't, you know. So I know, as I said, that, you know, that she's been the sort of main sort of communicator, as she would say today, you know, coming forward, you know, because it's almost like, yeah. I think she'll let the others in a minute when she's finished, you know, but only when she's finished, she's telling me, bless her. But she said the fact is that, you know, we've been encouraging you for a while to step into this sort of place, she said, you know. And she said, well, we are thankful we got you here. We really are, because she said, you have an inquisitive mind, my dear. Yeah, you really do. Although she said she keeps it, again, under wraps, she said, but sorry, we've just told everybody, and I've just told everybody in the world now because you're online. Sorry, dear. Hope you're not wanted by the police. But there you go. But she's saying the fact is that what you would do is that you love facts and information. You love to have your sort of brain fed in that way. Can you understand that? Say no with me if I'm wrong, but yeah. And she said you will find it as we've said this morning. You know, there's much information out there. There are books. There's what people's experience, what you'll find from by attending the church. If you're into doing it online, there's stuff on there as well. And she said, you know, you're going to brain overload. She said there's so much there. And she said you will. Right, I'm asking her to go because I do need to get on. Bless her, you know. Oh, but you can understand, my dear, also that she's telling me that you've got a lot of questions in your head, you know. And she said they will now try and give you, as I said earlier, the way that you will receive answers for those. She won't give them to you all at once. She said, you know, we'll give them to you a bit at a time, and give you time to think about them as well. That's what you need. Yeah, because you can't be rushed. You need time to mull it over. She's telling me. So she said, we understand that. So she said, just know, she said, I'm still as much alive as I was when I was here. I thought, oh yes, I believe it, you know. Bless her, I love her, you know. But she said, just know that, you know, we are around you, but we're not there to frighten you. If you feel us, just wish us well, because you have felt us. And she said, you know, even the fact is sometimes when we're sort of drifting off in a daydream or something, and something, you know, at the corner of your eye or something like that, you know. And she said, that's just us. We're just around. You know, we've never hurt you in life. This thing called death, we'd never hurt you in that either. just know, as I said, that our love comes to you, and we will continue to share our love with you. And please share your thoughts with us. So thank you, my dear. And I am embarrassed too much. Bless you. Bless you. But it was strange because the energy just kept going all the way I was sat there. I thought we're going to have to start with this lady. Anyway, so, and as we say, we follow what the Spirit Lord wants us to do. You know, they're the ones who know what's needed. So bless you. Cheers. This is vodka, really. Don't worry. You know, just to let you know. Right. Okay. So right, that's interesting. I like that one. Bless her. I need to get her out of the way because she's not one wanting to go when she's here. You know. Yes. Bless. I love her. That's all right. Right. Okay. Right. Okay. I know as this lady is moving off, then I do know, I feel as if I've got another lady coming through, connecting to me now. And I do feel as if, again, as she's talking to me, I know I've got a problem with my chest. There's a tightness there. I know I'm struggling with my breath, that sort of thing. And I know, you know, this is something that she was struggling through the going towards the end of her life. It really is. Everything was an effort. You know, it was even, I just feel quite weak. Trying to just get out of the chair was an effort. Life was an effort. And it's almost like, I feel as if this was what was happening with her. It's almost like, you know, this energy and everything was sort of just slowly being drained away from her. It really was. And again, I just feel as if I've got mother or grandmother with me, because it feels up at the end I've got family with me on that basis. My darling, can you understand that? I'm drawn more towards the back of the room. The lady in the stripy. Yes, can you understand this, my love?
Yes, I can.
Right, okay, that's great. As I said, mothers and grandmothers always feel the same to me, so she might draw me to one of their as we get more going, you know.
Okay.
That's me, because my grandmother always feels like a mother to me, and she always comes through that way.
Yes.
She really does, bless her. But I know, as I said, you can understand, because I feel as if, my darling, then you know, that you can understand. Is this more mother? Is it more connection with mother, this, or is it?
She did have asthma.
Yeah, you understand that what I was describing is more mother. Yes, right. I was just trying to get there because you know, I'd like to acknowledge her by her, you know, her name, her mum, you know, more than anything else.
Okay.
Not just go that person, you know.
No, no.
Just for me, I like to just, you know, I get to know them better that way, you know. So I said it was almost like mum. Yeah, mum struggled with these aspects, but you know, but you understand with mum, she's quite a strength. There's quite a fighter. Mum is.
Yeah, she was.
Oh yeah, you know, it's almost like, you know, she wasn't going anywhere.
No.
Oh no, she wasn't. No, she was clinging to life, as she would say it, in a nice way. Oh yes, yeah. But I know, as I said, that, you know, more and more she could do less for herself.
That's right.
You know, and that was a frustration for mum,
Yes.
because mum was fiercely independent.
She was.
Oh yes, she was not happy when she couldn't do something.
That's right.
She was a little bit snappy when she couldn't do something. You know.
Yeah.
And I know the fact is, bless her, she's being, what's the word for it? She said, I know I'm being a bit generous to myself when I just said a bit snappy, you know. But there is a humour about your mum as well. Yeah, because she said more like the fact is, I could take your head off at 10 paces if I wasn't happy, you know. And she said, you know, but she said, I know that you did so much for mum.
I did quite a bit.
Yeah, that's right. And she said, I appreciate it more than you ever know, because I didn't really show a lot of appreciation, you know.
That's
You know, I showed the other side more of life than appreciation, she said, unfortunately. But she said, you know, she said, but when I'm over here, she said, I can view things a little bit more in the right way, she's saying, you know, bless her. I know whether she said the fact is that, yeah, she said, oh, bless her, she's another one that always wanted things done in her way.
Yes. Yeah.
And there was only one way to do it, and that was her way, you know.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Bless her. She's another one that I love her because, you know, it doesn't matter whether she was ever right or wrong. She was always right.
That's right.
You know, yeah. And she'd swear black was white. You know,
Yeah.
she really was.
Yeah, she was.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I love her. But your mum's quite a character. I must admit. You know, it really is. You know, that sort of thing. You know, and again, I feel as if that with your mum, it feels like again that mum would. I don't feel as if mum would ever throw anything away. Say no if that's not quite right. I need to understand what she's talking about if that's not quite right with you, my dear.
She was in a wheelchair for the last
it's just
So
it,
she couldn't have access to everything.
right, because it's almost like, but well, I'll give you my way that she's given me of the thinking behind this, and then you can tell me if I'm right or wrong. But Mum feels as if that, you know, that she didn't want to get rid of things because you never know when they come in useful.
That's the same as me.
Ah, right, there you go, there you go. Yeah, she said, but you never know, she said, so she wouldn't get rid of it, you know, that sort of thing, you know.
That's right.
So she said, but I don't know. Again, she you know, trying to ask her if I think it might be talking about both of you, because I do feel as if there are sort of containers or boxes of stuff.
I'm surrounded by boxes.
Yeah,
at the
that
moment, yes.
that've got all the stuff in that actually, well, you know, need to be chucked out. Really, she said.
Well, my daughter said that. Yes.
Well, yeah. I'm not saying your daughter's right, dear. You know, or your mum's right. It's you do what you want. But she said there's stuff in there. Really, she said it will never come in useful.
That's right. Yes.
It really will. She said it's a bit like.
It's going. It's
Yeah,
going.
it needs to go. She said you need to do a clearing at this stage.
I'm doing it.
Good,
Yeah.
good. She said it's a bit like you would need to do an autumnal bit. She
Yes,
said, you know,
that's right, yeah.
and she said you need to be brave and just pick the box up and throw it out.
Oh my God.
I know, because she said if you go through it, you go, well, I think I might just keep that.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that, I might just keep that. And she said,
Yes.
the way you are, my dear, and she said you could end up with more stuff than you started with.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She said, I'm not trying to be rude, but she said, she said that's the way it is.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is correct.
So she said, be bold, just throw it out.
Yeah.
Yes, you won't sleep tonight now, will you, really? You know, that fear, you know. But only joke. But I know she said, you know, but she said she can understand that
Okay. Yes.
because she would be very much the same. It really is, you know, one of those sort of things. So she said, but you know, it comes from, you know, you've got it from because we didn't throw things away, so we've almost sort of almost in a way programmed you because this is what we used to do, you know. So she said, yeah, so blame them, darling, blame them. There's no
Yes,
problem. Yeah,
blame
it's their fault. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. She said, but it is. She said because generations, she said, create the same thing
That's right.
as generations come on.
Yeah.
And she said, you know, if you don't question it, then it continues.
That's right.
She's reminding me of a story once that somebody told me about a daughter was with her mum one day, and the mum was sawing off the end of a leg of lamb. And the daughter said to the mother, why are you doing that? She said, well, I suppose it improves the taste. And mum said, well, I said to the daughter, said, well, don't you know? She said, well, no, my mum, your grandmother always used to do it.
Yeah.
And she said, ask your grandmother. She said, I'm sure it's to do with the taste and that. So the daughter goes to the grandmother and says, Granny, what, you know, Mum's sawing off the end of the leg of lamb. She said, why did you do that? Is it to improve the taste? She said, oh no, she said, it's because my tin was so small.
Yeah.
And that's what we do, you know. Our predecessors, you know, teach us things, and sometimes, you know, it's a bit like, yeah, we continue, you know, bless.
That's correct.
But she said, you know, it's just bringing a bit of lightness to what you're going through at the moment, you know.
I'm going through a lot at the moment.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And she said the fact is that, you know, there are times when, yeah, you get a little bit fed up with life.
Yes.
Understand that?
Yes.
I'm saying to her, look, we got to use some nice language because, you know, we're in church today, you know.
That's right.
Yes, you know, yes. But the stronger language would really be more accurate about how you get feeling recently about things, you know.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. But she said, you know, it just feels like it just feels like there's one thing after another, she said.
That is correct.
Yeah. She said it's a bit like buses. She said one comes, the next one comes, and she said, yeah, and then she said you feel like one of them's just reversed back over you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
yeah. So she said, you know, we are aware, and she said we are there to help and support you.
Thank you.
We are trying our best, you know.
Thank you.
And she said we are trying to sort certain things out for you.
Excellent. That's what I need.
Yes, you do, because she said you're not in a nice way. You're not in control of those bits.
No, I'm not.
You're dependent on other people.
That is correct.
Yes. She said, and they're being a bit of a pain in the backside at the moment.
They are.
Yes.
Yes.
And she said, we realise that, so we are trying to influence in a positive way for you. Yeah,
Excellent.
it is, yeah. And she said, just to make sure, we came today to tell you, she said, none of this is your fault.
It isn't. Though.
No, no.
No.
no, it's just them being, what's it, you know,
Yeah.
yeah, they really are. And she said, we realise that.
Yeah.
And she said, she said, thank you and admires you, because she said, what you've done is, she said, in a way, taking a step back and saying, I'm not going to be drawn into this.
No, that's right.
She said, because your first reaction is, I'm going to I'll roll my sleeves up and I'll sort them out.
Yeah.
She said, but you didn't. You brought in the calmness and thought, no, that's they just want me to be involved. You know, they want me to draw in. It'll prove that they're right. You know, if I do this. So she said, you've done the right thing.
Thank you.
Just continue the way you're going. She said.
Excellent. Thank you.
She said, at the end of the day, she said, they are going to be the ones that are miserable and sorry and.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much.
She
That's
said,
beautiful.
bless you.
Thank you very much.
But just take their love and say, you know, we're with you, darling. Just again, just know that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's wonderful. Thank you.
Yeah, we don't organise spiritual hit people around here. Well, I don't think we do we?
No.
Oh. He wishes we did at times. Right, okay. Bless. All right. Right, okay. I know that the ladies are now allowing a gentleman in, you know. It's very kind of them, isn't it, really? You know. But I've got a young gentleman coming in, and I like his energy. It feels like he's late 20s. I do like him. He's quite a character. Bless him. I do feel as if that he went in it's a road traffic accident. At the moment, I'm trying to get him to tell me whether it's a bike or a car, but I know his sort of life ended there. But I know he said that, you know, he would be wanting to talk more about his life, because he was full of life. He was full of fun. He was full of excitement. He was, as I said, I love him. He's quite a character, you know. He's also, he's making me laugh, because he said, you know, don't forget to tell him, he said I was good looking as well, you know. He said, I dress well, you know, that's a good thing. You know. He said also, the girls like me. He said they did. You know, oh, yes. So, so can anybody understand this lovely gentleman, young gentleman?
Via my son, I didn't actually know.
That's fine, my dear. Sometimes, as I said, the connection comes that way, but you can understand the description of himself that he's given you so far.
Yeah, via my son.
That's right, that's fine, my darling, that's
And we
fine.
got another one.
We got another one? Another one there, right, that's right.
We
That's
want the good-looking bloke. Or you. Spirit.
I thought you were putting a mirror up to me. I thought, yeah. So you can understand some of this as well. So what we'll do is we'll work, if that's okay, and we'll find out who it's for, you know. But I know with him, it's the fact is that that I want to say that this young gentleman, like I say, I love, as I said, love his energy. Because of this element of this cheekiness, this essence of him. It's almost like it's almost like this. He was almost like carefree gentleman, but there was more caring in this gentleman than he let on. Yes. Yes, right. And I need to get something sorted out. Yeah, right. Okay. Then what I want to say is that there must be knowledge of somebody that was close to him that still has an item of his clothing, either a jumper or something that was his. I don't know if you know. You don't know.
Very possibly.
Very possibly. You're not so sure. Is that right? See, they're going to make me work for a living now. You see, that's a trouble. You know? That's it. But I want to say to you that he did have somebody in the time of his passing, a young lady that was in his life. Yes? No. Right. Thank you, my darling, for speaking that. Thank you. And that's, I needed him to get sort of, you can understand there was somebody in his life, you know. And I know that from all of his sort of bravado and the way he was going on, he wasn't a womanizer. She was the one. She really was. He was just cheeky, you know. He really was, you know. He did like a little bit of a flirt, but nothing to it. You know, he liked a bit of banter as well, you know. But she was somebody he really did love. And I feel as if it was almost like at that stage, unfortunately when he passed, it was the stage where his life was about to change. In his way, a positive way. He said we were going off in a nice sort of pathway together. And he said we'd made plans. And he said it was just a shame that I had to go. It really was. I do feel as if also there must be memories that that there was a lot of people that turned up for his funeral as well, because it feels like I'm spilling outside the doors. You know, so I'm stood outside. You know, he was liked by so many people. He said he said it touched his heart because he said it. Oh, he said I didn't realise, you know, that so many people would turn up. Yeah, I got to say it was so special. It really was, you know. And I know with him, he had that loving, again, that supportive side to him. You know, there were times where people didn't always see the true depth in him, and there was depth. You know, people just saw him as the happy chappy, flirty, you know, good look. He said, "Don't forget the good looking bit again." He said, "You know, good looking, yeah." He said that I was. He said, but yeah, no. He said there was more depth in him. There really was. You know, there was deeper conversations that he had with people that some people didn't even know. You know, he had thoughts on things. He really did. You know, that sort of thing. And I know, as I said, that, you know, there he was somebody that was there for close friends. You know, he would be there to support. He really would. You know, he was like that. He really was. You know. And again, I know you said about the travelling. It's almost like, yeah, I feel as if there were quite a few people that travelled, you know, not just yourself, but others, you know, because he said they are amazing. He said they made the effort to come. He said he said again that touched him so much because he was there, you know. He said the only trouble was I couldn't really take part in the partying, you know. He said, well, yeah, you needed a party, really, you know, because he said that I needed to be celebrated. He said that's the important thing, you know, that's, you know, that sort of thing. But he said, you know, with you, it's almost like the fact is, I don't know, at the moment he just wants to give you a big hug and say, everything's going to be all right. I'm here. We're all here. And just know that we've been listening to your thoughts. Not being intrusive, but we know, my darling. Okay. Do you want me to stop? You know, so I guess I'm, you know, yeah. I only usually make women cry on the first date. So that's the trouble with that. Yeah. Have we got any tissues anyway? Oh, we've got tissues coming from all over the place, dear. You're inundated with tissues. There we go. She may need the box. That's right. Yeah. Yes. That's right. Yeah. But he's saying yes. He said, you know, because he said, you know, he wants to say that, you know, yeah. I said, he wants to reiterate that he's there, you know, and he said, you know, I'm never far away from you and your thoughts. I'm really not. Yeah. And he said, I know, he said, how much you miss me. And he said, don't think I don't miss you. But he said, I do come visit. He said, not to, again, like, not to frighten you, but just to know. He said, I will do and try and get you to know he's there, you know. You must have felt him hug you. To say no if you haven't, but like I say, it just makes me feel, because he's tried several times to just know, to reassure you, he said, you know.
Changed the thing in my car as well to a song that
yeah.
funeral.
Yeah. Bless them, they will. They do so much as they can to prove to you directly that they're still alive, they're there for you. And it's almost like, yeah, but, you know, just sit and talk to him. He said, you don't need to talk out loud, you can just sit there and talk in your mind to him. And he said, don't worry, I will hear. You must have a picture of him, a special picture, because you do sit with this picture. And he said, you remember. And he said, those memories also touch him. And he's saying, why are you doing that? So I said, yeah, just know, he said, that we are listening. We will help where we can. We will bring healing when we can. And we want to put that sparkle back into your eyes. Because he said, you know, I'm just going to, he said, you do realise I'm going to have to teach you how to flirt again, don't you? And that would be his teasing. Do you know what I mean? He's got this little lovely teasing side of you, you know. And the fact is, he'd say things like that because he'd want you to smile and laugh. And he really would. And he said, we do need to bring that back to you. But he said, just take what we call the baby steps in life. He said, it's difficult sometimes to take even one step. But just know that any to think is better than nothing. And always know that we are there. And there are others around you on the earth plane that will help as well. But don't be, he said, don't be damn stubborn, he said, Will you accept some help now and again? He said. But no, he said, just wants to say I love you and leave you with that. Do I get the feeling I need to,
Get the feeling?
Yeah.
Am I giving you the feeling?
I have the head. I'm suddenly getting a vibe from the back here, I'm not saying any more about that.
Rephrase that.
That's right, yes.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. Thank you. God bless you all.
Wonderful, and that isn't it wonderful the way Spirit cooperate? That emphasises what I was saying earlier. It's the experience. Yeah. So wonderful, wonderful. Thank you, Andy.
Bless you all.
This week, fairly quiet week. We have the start of the men's support group on Thursday evening at 7 o'clock, and that's being run by Janet Ridge. Then on Saturday, we have week 3 of those on the Legacy course. That is part 3, and it concerns healing, and that's being taken by David Powell. Next Sunday at 11 a.m, we have a revival service. This is one of these services where we bring back some of the things we used to do in spiritualism. I'll be taking that service, and it'll be based on musical mediumship. Aren't you lucky? You come in here and have me sing at you. Aren't you lucky?
No,
Not
please,
no.
he's not singing.
I will record the music. I will spare you that torture. But it's just interesting. It's another form and expression of mediumship. And as I say, it's something we used to practice so much before we just fell into continual mental mediumship, as you've just seen very adequately displayed there by Andy. Not moving on with that word, are we? Good. Going forward towards the end of this month, the next bank holiday weekend, we have our rally, and this is a 4-day event, and this is to celebrate all things within spiritualism. We have Phil Dykes and Kerry MacLeod with us, and they're a wonderful couple, work very, very hard both here and abroad. We also have Nick Witham, who is a leader of a big healing sanctuary, and he also has various publishing concerns. And our very own Stephen Mager will be back with us. Fingers crossed. If you can put Stephen into your thoughts, he's just had a very rough 8 days, but he seems to be bouncing back. He's very irascible and he used quite a few swear words, so I think he's getting better. Yeah. So, but yes, that's from Friday the 22nd until Sunday the 24th. Full details are available in the newsletter, available in the hall, on our Facebook, all our social media and our websites. Andy, sir, if I could ask you please.
Again, if you'd just like to come into the quiet, again, gently just close your eyes. So we say, oh great Spirit, oh Heavenly Father, we thank you for this service that we've just had. For you, the spirit world, that have come to be with us, to communicate with us, or maybe just to join us within this lovely energy. We know as we then venture out in the coming week that you'll help and guide us, and perhaps we can help and guide others also. We know as we move forward that you are ever there, and you will bring the healing to those that are in our thoughts, around this world, to this world, and in that way improving, hopefully, the lives of everybody, including, obviously, our world of nature and animals. God bless us all within this, always thinking of us as we are always thinking of you. Amen.
Amen. Andy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's lovely to see you back on the platform.
And standing.
And standing, yes, very good. Yeah, it is wonderful to see. Thank you all for being with us this morning. Bank holiday weekend. When you retire, that doesn't mean a lot, does it? No, it's sort of just like, where all these people come from on Monday, go away. But enjoy the weekend. Fingers crossed we're going to start getting summer. So have a wonderful day. Thank you all.
Yes, please, mate. Yes, please.
I spent all day yesterday doing this.
Yes, must be losing weight again.